Queenkay. How are you?
Fantastic, Miss Jessica. Very, very nice to see you. Welcome to
Yes.
the Spotlight Show. Today's your day. Do me a favor and introduce yourself to the audience. Who is Jessica Grant?
Oh, absolutely. Well, hello, audience, everyone that's tuned in to the show today. My name is Jessica Grant. And, I would have to say, Jessica, overall, I would be here all day if I sat here talking about myself. We'll be here all day. But I'm going to just summarize a couple of things up about myself from the perspective of where I am today. Jessica I'm going to say the first thing about myself is that I am just a dreamer. I am a dreamer and a hard worker. And I like to think that I put in whatever hard works that it takes to watch my dreams come to fruition, right? And aside from just being a dreamer, I'm extremely ambitious and I am determined. I am competitive, but in a good way, right? I like to think I was watching one of your other videos, Queenkay, because I was kind of prepped for this question, right? And I don't know who mentioned it, but I think that there was a gal who she mentioned that I am every woman wrapped up into one.
That's
and
right.
I honestly feel I feel that way about myself, honestly, because at the end of the day, I'm just a jack of all trades. Everybody who knows me knows that I do everything. I have my hand in every pot.
I love it.
And that's just how I am. And I believe that I'm this way. Why is because, and this is not to boast, Queenkay, but I'm a very talented individual, and I believe that God has blessed the works of my hands. Everything that I do prospers, and it turns to gold, right?
Hallelujah.
Because,
take me to church, girl.
Right? Just because I'm a survivor and I'm a fighter, and I will always land on my feet because I'm just that determined.
I love it.
And aside from that, I love people. I'm a lover, and I'm humble at the end of the day. So I think that that's who Jessica Grant is.
That's beautiful. It's like you have a confidence, you have the humility knowing that God put you here, gave you these talents, and you work hard for it. So that's amazing. And I see a nice little statue there, a little award thing behind you. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do that sets you apart from, say, the regular everyday person? What do you do? What is your source of income, your source of inspiration, your passion?
Sure. Okay, so for my full-time 9 to 5 job, I am a business development manager in the staffing industry. So I spend my days putting people to work. I've been doing it for about 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been doing it for about 4 years, and I love what I do because I feel like, you can't be or get more honest than putting people to work every single day. I mean, everyone's source of income is how they put a roof over their head. It's how they eat, So I feel like what I do is important, and I'm a people's person. So I love just interacting with people, and my job allows me to do that full time.
Awesome.
But aside from that, when I am not doing that, I take off that hat and I become a completely different person. Hence why you see this trophy behind me,
Tell me about those trophies, girl.
So I am a bikini competitor.
Woo.
Yes, not last month, but back in March, I earned my pro card with the INBA Natural Bodybuilding.
Wow. So what does that mean now? When you say pro card, what does that mean to the
That means that I am officially a PNBA pro bikini bodybuilder.
Wow.
So I do it now. I'm competing on a professional level, and I love what I do. I'm telling you, Queenkay, it doesn't get more rewarding than this right here.
Wow.
Bodybuilding is hard work. It's early mornings, late nights. It's diet. It's everything.
Look, I was recently at an event such as the one you mentioned, and it was amazing. It was the stories behind the contestants. It was the hard work. It was the dedication. It was the commitment. And I met you there. You were there to support a mutual friend of ours, Adaku, who won some trophies. So I was so happy for her. And, just when we were having dinner, I was like, man, this lady is so, just having a conversation with you. You are so inspiring, being so young, being so passionate about life, knowing who you are, and having a strong mom, too, behind you. And I think that's how you and Adaku met, because your mom is colleagues with her. So it was just amazing. I love the strength that powerful women can do for each, what they can be together. And I think I found that in meeting you. That was really awesome. And I just said, you have to be on this show. You have to tell me more about yourself. You have to connect with people who are doing something with their lives, and maybe they can tap into a little bit of your energy and get inspired and encouraged. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this. So
Yes.
tell me a little bit about where you envision yourself in the next year from now.
So, in the next year from now, so let me say I'm a competitor, right? Queenkay. So I don't want to put all my things out there too much. I got competition that's out there,
Just
right?
say
That
a
can see
little,
this video.
just give us, you don't even have to say,
But
I'm
I'll
going to be
give
at
you
this
just a little bit
competition.
of a
Just
little
say like,
bit.
you're training for, you can be a little vague, but
Yeah, absolutely.
then
So
surprise
just
us.
yeah. So to be vague here, I see a heck of a lot more winning in my future in the next year. Definitely some checks coming through.
Amen to that. Because when you're
Amen to
pro, you
that.
got to make that dough.
I know exactly making that money, right?
All
So
right.
I see that in my near future.
Amen.
I also see, some sponsorships coming through
Oh,
as well, and some other opportunities
that would
open
be
itself.
awesome. That would be really
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, definitely. That would be awesome as well. And I also see other opportunities to kind of, that's opening up for some modeling gigs and some
Oh,
acting
wow.
gigs as well.
That's
I also have some partnerships going on and some international gigs that are
things.
actually in the works right now.
Oh
So,
man, I'm so excited. I definitely will be following up with you, and you're one to watch for sure. So what motivates you? What inspires you? How what keeps you up at night, and what made this part of your life? Because I can sense that you're very passionate about it. So what did it for you? What does it for you?
absolutely. So let me answer this question because there are several different things that motivate me, right? And so, I'm just going to say that growing up, I was never into fitness. I didn't know anything about fitness. I didn't come from a family that taught me anything about health and fitness. So when I first got into this thing, it came from a place of just not liking the way that I look, to be honest with you. I looked in the mirror and I was not happy with what I saw for a very long time.
Wow.
And I suffered with that depression there. And it was hidden because people around me saw me as a happy person and, so forth and so on. But deep down inside, I just was not content with myself. But however, and I think that, this is for me in general, this has nothing to do with solely just about bodybuilding, but um, I don't sulk in things. Whenever I see a problem or whenever I see an issue in my life, I change it. And so that was my number one motivation right there is I knew that there was the area in my life that was weak, it was lacking, and I needed to make a change.
Okay.
And so that was motivation number one.
All right.
And yeah, so right after that, I immediately started to drop the weight. And then after that, I ended up running into a lady in the gym who is a bodybuilder. And I
Wow.
looked at her body and I'm like, that is the physique that I want. I want that. I
Okay.
want that look. Right? So that became my next motivation right there is just having this dream and this idea in my mind of what I wanted to look like and wanted to follow through with it to the bitter end and see what can come of it. Now, I'm not going to lie. I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I have invested my money in the wrong people. I sought counsel with the wrong people, because I was trying to figure out how could I get there. But
Yeah.
ultimately, it's just having that dream and just having a dream. And it all starts with a vision, right? For anything that you do in life. And that was
Absolutely.
motivation in itself. And
Wow.
then I would have to say, last but not least, I think that the next thing that came into play is once I got my pro card, right? And let me just say, I'm just scratching the surface. I'm not where I want to be. There is a lot more to accomplish.
You're
I
just
got
getting
some big
started.
plans
Mhm.
ahead. I'm
Mhm.
telling you, I'm just getting started. You ain't seen nothing
Come on now.
yet. Seriously. You ain't seen nothing yet. But in a short amount of time that I've been doing this, I've impacted so many lives already. I mean, from the people on my job,
Wow.
and they see it firsthand. I work with them every single day, so they see it firsthand.
Mhm.
To the people my friends and my family, even
Mhm.
people who are even not a part of my life, who I knew back when, they're popping up out of nowhere, like, "Hey, how you doing this thing?" You know what I mean? It's not that they want to be a bodybuilder
They
per,
just want
per
to get
se.
fit.
They just want Yeah, they just want to know, how do I get fit? How could I be more healthy? And so now this thing has gotten to be bigger than me, you know? And so every time I step up on that stage or every time I post on my social media, I have to think in my mind, I have people watching me for inspiration, you know?
Yeah,
So it's bigger than me. It's about the people around me. Is that not why we're here in this life? Is to
exactly.
impact one
Oof.
another,
Girl, you're giving
right?
me goosebumps. I love it. It's
Right?
everything. Amen to
Yeah.
everything you're saying. That is
Yeah,
incredible.
I think last but not least, I think the last thing that motivates
Wow.
me the most, honestly, is the people who don't believe in me. You know what I mean?
The haters,
Now that's the
the
motivation right
frenemies.
there.
Wow, I love it. I was recently advising my young son, who's a seventh grader, and he's very smart, but he wasn't applying himself. And I said to him, "Listen, you you either just go along this path and let people
Hmm.
believe that you're not smart, and because you're not turning in your homework, you're not doing the work. It's
Right.
showing in your grades." And you're
Mhm.
very intelligent. You didn't get into this prestigious school so that you can just be flunking or subpar. So I want you to represent yourself, who you really are. Forget about what people are thinking about you.
Hmm.
Do what you're supposed to do, and the results will show. So it's exactly kind of what you're saying. And do you know this boy is ending this semester with straight A's? Simply because he did the work. I'm going to find very interesting ways to reward him during the summer, just because he listened to me. I was
Hmm.
frustrated because I'll be getting letters and emails from his teacher. And I'm like, I know this kid is smart. What are you doing? So I cut off all the things that you can imagine, and all the distractions, and he started to
Hmm.
sit up. Because when you start to be deprived of those things that you want, it's no longer a privilege. You
Yes.
understand? You work for it.
Yes.
And that is
Yes.
exactly what you did. You were already born beautiful, but you wanted to be better. And you're
Right.
not depressed. You look amazing. You understand?
Thank
And you're
you.
making a difference in other people's lives.
Thank
So I
you.
love it. I love that about you. Now listen,
Yeah.
someone's watching this and they're like, man, I want to be like this awesome young lady, or they want to change their life. They want,
Hmm.
what, just speak to that person. They might even decide to do bodybuilding just because they
Hmm.
watched you. But you might impact one life, and if you impact one life, that's already a lot of lives. Trust me, because
Oh,
the domino effect of that. But go ahead and tell that person, speak to that person, look at the camera and speak to that person and tell them something that will change their life.
oh, sure. I would look at that person and I would say, I think it all starts with how you see yourself. And the choices that you make in life is a reflection of how you see yourself. So you have to almost elevate your mindset and create this transition in your mind where you start to see yourself on a pedestal. There is no dream out there that is too big. There is nothing out there that cannot be accomplished. I don't care what anybody says to you or what life makes you feel like you're limited because of finances or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, it all starts with just taking the first step and the first initiative. And so I would say to that person that whatever it is that you're feeling in your heart, whatever it is your passions are, you have got to follow that thing through. Because I'm going to tell you this, right? At the end of the day, I don't know how much time we have on this earth, but when it's time to give account for yourself about what you contributed to this life and what you did, what are you going to say? You know? And I don't know about anybody else, but I want to have something to say. So it's very important that we all find who we are at the
Ooh,
end of the day and find what motivates us. What gets you going? What makes you wake up in the morning? Find that thing
girl.
and run with
Woo.
it. And run with it. Trust
Amen.
me, it's gonna everything else, don't worry about the distractions. Everything else is gonna fall into place. It doesn't have to make sense. You don't have to have this perfect plan. Trust me, I didn't have to make a plan.
You
I
just
didn't have a
stumble
plan when I
forward.
started. It didn't happen that way. And I'm just gonna last start off with this story here really quick. And this I'm trying to make this very, very brief and try to cut this down. Before I even saw who I was and everything that I had in me, right? And it just goes to show that people in your life, they will pour into you. I'm going to tell you a testimony. There was a lady, I'll never forget this day. I was working at an ice cream shop. I didn't have a dime to my name. I didn't know how. I knew I wanted to go to college.
Wow.
I knew I wanted all these things for myself, but I had no idea how I would get there. Plus, I was really suffering from low self-esteem, right? So I didn't have a vision for myself. And I never forget that there was a lady who saw me, and this goes to show you have to watch how you present yourself, right? She ended up seeing me in like a show that I did, and she looked at me, and she ran into me at that ice cream shop, and she stood in front of me, and she said, "I know you from somewhere." And I said, "You know me and you have never crossed paths a day in our lives." She said, "Yeah, I know you." She said, "I've seen you someplace." She said, "Hey, how's things going in your life? You got money to go to school? You got this, you got that?" And I'm looking at this lady like, "Lady, I ain't got a darn thing to my name." But she saw in the spirit who I was.
Wow.
And she poured into me. She said, "Okay." She said, "Why don't you give me a call? Here's my number. I'm getting ready to write you a check for $10,000. And I told her, "Lady, you don't know me."
Are you serious?
She said, "Yeah, I'm getting ready to write you a check."
Oh
And she said, "Send me all your information. I'm going to send you the check." I thought the lady was joking. I thought she was lying, right? And kid you not, that check came into the mail in the amount of $10,000. I remember my mother and I going to the bank asking the teller, "Do this lady really got this money in her account?"
Okay.
And they're like, "Yeah, she got it. She got it." And
Wow.
so sure enough, here is a lady that poured into my life, all because I've chosen to take certain steps, and things fell into place, even when I didn't see it, even when I didn't believe.
Just showing
But
up.
it's taking that first step and that initiative. You
Wow.
never know what can happen in your life that'll help you get to that goal and that dream.
Amen. Wow, you girl.
How about that?
This is amazing. Thank you so much. I get inspired doing this every day, so I stay inspired. But today you've tipped it to the next level. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and making a difference in the lives of so many people. I'm gonna be like watching you for sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Queenkay, for having me. I really appreciate it. Let me just say that you are just a beautiful person. And even having dinner with you the other night, talking to you, I mean, I'm telling you, it's like we've known each other for years.
It really feels that way. And you're young, but you have both a young soul and an old soul all in one. So you're the total package. Thank you so much, sweetheart. God bless you.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.